Well, hello, YouTube. I hope that you can put up with me today. I've had one too many cups of coffee, and I'm sure that it will show. Welcome to another edition to the Get Real series, baby, where I am bound to piss someone off. Yet, many that have such thin skin will not present their dissent. I encourage you to do so. Just understand, here we do not self-censor. This is valued as I am against political correctness. However, this does not mean you are excused from departing from the manners your parents surely taught you. This edition will be unedited and it is unscripted for those of you who like that sort of thing. Anyway, I have been holding this back for a later date where I would have made a better case, but lucky you, you get it in raw form today. If you offend easily or cannot get past the critique of a party line, then you are excused. I will not be offended. I have said many times before that if you look deeply at one's beliefs, you can escape the cages formed from their mouth. It is rare for me to find any person, no matter their makeup, that does not have what would be considered at least one liberal or one conservative worldview. And no, I am not playing games of the modern left and right. When I say liberal, I am referring strictly to one who is characterized as being broad-minded. When I speak of conservative, I am speaking of this magical determination of what the middle class is supposedly. Normally, it is not a standing, which is defined but followed. Once accepted, these folks are wanting to conform to the conventions of that class. Now, that we are straight on this, I will continue. The conservative, based on my observation, now I am referring to those who outwardly reject all things liberal, well, they are a funny breed. For the record, I do not see myself as liberal or conservative. I indeed have attributes that can be taken from both camps. However, the difference in my conservative aspects is that they are self-defined, not by a radio show host, a politician, a Bible slinger, a former educator, etc. I have laboriously combed through what I think, refined it to the best of my understanding and current ability, and discarded the rest. If I happen to agree with anyone from the popular camps, it is because I see worth in that position. With that said, I do think I have constructed a decent foundation for your consideration of my point of view and my standing. So, to my conservative friends, please do not be dismayed by my needle-like statements. Your comments and video replies are welcomed. I am merely perturbed mostly by you today, or I should say, those who prescribe to your state of mind. Now, I wish I could say that the bulk of black conservatives I have met over the years think for themselves. The evidence seems to indicate this is not so. Most of the ones I encountered, which I understand does not accurately describe a definitive representation of the whole, parrot their white brothers in arms. They are just as, pesky, obnoxious, affluent wannabes, unrelenting regarding their half-baked understandings, trivial, and display what happens to be a psychoneurotic insistence that they know what is best for an individual, a group, and especially all of America. No debate needed, just blind subservience. What brings this all up, you may ask? Well, the overhearing of a conversation, one between two staunch conservatives, at least they would like to think of themselves as that way. They are of the Glenn Beck, Sean Hannity fusion type. Also, like your liberal enemies, speaking to you still, my conservative friends, many of you claim there is no one way to be a conservative. I am sure you are correct. But you seem to go against this by uplifting a hive mentality. You cloak it by saying it is a state of mind, a way of looking at the civil social order, or a type of character. Yet in reality, you betray, though you think you do not, that you have secretly admitted to yourself that you do see there being only one way to be a conservative. So, here is what I heard. Quote, they're getting married and taking more responsibility for their own lives. End quote. And here's another statement. Quote, they're beginning to question the established liberal black leaders. End quote. Oh, and here's another. Those leaders who kept most of them angry at the white man, what they like to call whitey, and addicted to government programs. End quote. Well, I have this to say. How about putting down your obtuseness, for you have no idea of what you speak? 1. Marriage is not for everyone, nor does it speak to your ability to be in a healthy relationship. Getting married does not make all things right in one's world. Ideally, those who have taken that path have done so for the correct reasons, and those who selected not to have also done so, hopefully, for the right reasons that only they can determine. Idealization may be an important part of the mating process, but I select not to be fooled and suffer the consequence of the leave it to beaver mentality. 2. What is this fallacy many of your white male conservatives subscribe to? Do you get your talking points from the same news outlet by chance? It is not a matter of blacks questioning liberal leaders. Certain blacks may have been hypnotized by either side. Some may have entirely invested themselves into the pull yourself up by the bootstraps nonsense, as if this is always an option. I will speak more on this at a later date. Or others prescribing to the give me a savior I can believe in crap. Maybe you are guilty of not being able to see beyond the idiosyncrasies of your own experience. Maybe? Well, sunshine, do you really want to know what it is? Do you want the real skimmy? It is a recipe of many things. Any or all of these things, to whatever degrees, can be present. It is a matter of being dumbed down, feeding into distractions, being indoctrinated, lured by guilt, hoodwinked, and applying to faith that all will get better if we stand down and let others who claim they have our best interest at heart do a job that we should be doing. I have witnessed many white Americans on many sides of life fall victim to these same things. 3. Insightful blacks, in my opinion, that want to see an America that has never existed develop, hopefully, into something healthy for all who reside, and take proudly the title of American, at least what they hoped, what they thought what America stood for, or what Americans could be, are displeased royally with the system that happens to be orchestrated and maintained by white power brokers and their sycophants. It is not a matter from moving from rage to responsibility as you see it. It is a matter of taking reality, not sugarcoating it, seeing your fault within it, not being a fawning dependent, and not being afraid to call you on your shit. But see, I understand. This makes many in white America. And, I'm using white America because I know there are those who need to have that abbreviation of their status so they're not confused with the rest of us. Anyway, many in white America, in my opinion, are nervous, defensive, and illogical as it relates to things that they do not fully understand or taking the time to attempt to understand. 4. As far as being addicted to government programs, again, a matter of individual travels, partly due to some of the things just mentioned. Poor decision making and, oh yes, and let's not forget that there are just some who are plain lazy. We have people like that in every group. Don't think that you are exempt. You're nothing special. The last that I understood, we are all in the same muck together, and not understanding that what was constructed to help can also hurt if you do not do all you can to do things for yourself. The problem is, many of you conservatives, both white and black especially, do not want to talk about how some are trapped into this reality due to systematic racism, racial bigotry, other cognitive distortions that people buy into, and just plain evil intentions constructed to deprive one of economic independence and replace it with interdependency in order to maintain a workforce that mostly serves you. That's all I have for now. Peace.